I don't know if you're just going with the rhyme, but like Zest with a brain also sounds like you're describing the player Rain, who was a good Protoss player in StarCraft 2 and still plays Brood War. And you're describing him as... Rain is kind of like Zest if Zest had a brain. Which is very funny and also very rude. In the bottom left, it is HeRoMaRinE. In the top right, we have Zest. Going for a very quick probe scout, but not too surprising nowadays. I don't know when's the last time they faced against each other. I think the last time they faced each other was a bit closer. Because there's one time they faced off and HeRoMaRinE just 3-0'd them. Okay, so 74, 3-0, 86, 3-2, 88, 3-2. HeRoMaRinE's been able to win in most of the Open Cups, but it got a lot closer. And recently, HeRoMaRinE lost at Asus Rock. 0-2 against Zest. So, I was right, like I said. This should be a good best of 5. I have that right, let's go over it. Good. Even though Zest comes in here with ping disadvantage, he clearly doesn't mind it. Otherwise, he'd stop playing in the European tournaments. He also doesn't care that it's 5 in the morning. Don't know why people think that he ever cared. He's been doing this shit for 2 years. I'm guessing Twilight Council. But that's only because I like Zest with Twilight Council. He has been playing some robo-openers, though, recently. And, yeah, Stargate... I mean, I think he almost always goes Oracle Blink. Like, even though I know he's played with an robo-opener before, and he can go Phoenix Colossus... I just Blink. Get Blink, damn it. HeRoMaRinE's not gonna have any information. Did not go for an SCV Scout, did not go for a Reaper. Might be feeling very comfortable against Zest. I think it's a bit of a gamble, because Zest can do a proxy gateway. But going back to my statement about Zest's early game aggression, I don't like his cheats. But early game aggression, yes, I'd be afraid as HeRoMaRinE to kind of let this one go. Let this scout go. But it seems like he's going to prepare as well as possible without even doing any scouting. Marines were just barely in position to get some damage done to the Adepts, which now have to be very careful about how they tango. And HeRoMaRinE should have something patrolling around for an Oracle. His Hellions going to go off to the left side and try and dart in for that last second scout. By the time that happens, the Oracle might already be in the natural. If it happens, if the Hellion isn't destroyed. Very nice split there from Zest. He's totally anticipating that. Hellion just seconds away from getting the Xel'Naga, potentially seeing the Oracle. It does look like now Woodermine's burrowed into the main base and Marine's in the natural as well. Might have picked up from the amount of Adept that have been shown that it was in fact a Stargate opener. And now he's going to get that confirmation. Also going to see a couple of Phoenix pop out. Oracle gets in, kills an SCV and a Mule by the looks of things, and barely doesn't die. So does HeRoMaRinE know about the third base? This could be a little complicated. He got in, he didn't see the gases, he saw the Stargate building Phoenix. He doesn't really know if it's going to be Phoenix Colossus or Phoenix Charge. But I think if he saw how fast the third Nexus was, he might have some, I guess, more formulate a better opinion than absolutely nothing. It is a Twilight Council. HeRoMaRinE's hoping to catch these Phoenix flying over. It's all cool, it's really cool, but Zest is the one who's taking control over the map. Oh, the Oracle's gonna fly over it. Pop! Yeah, no one's gotten the triple crown of the Open Cups. Kira's gotten close, Zest has gotten close, Solar's gotten close. I think so, yeah. But no one's ever gotten all three. Alright, so HeRoMaRinE doing some really cool things, but I was talking about the map vision. HeRoMaRinE has no map vision. He does not know about the third Nexus, he doesn't know about the gases. It could be Phoenix Colossus or it could be Phoenix Charge. Now, if you were going to place a bet, you would put the bet on Phoenix Charge. Zest's famous for his gateways. For many reasons, some of them not good. Some of the reasons being that he doesn't seem to spend all of his money on his gateways, but regardless. That might just be what HeRoMaRine's doing. It seems like HeRoMaRine's very content with playing out this game in a macro sense, 3rd CC, double engineering bay, no information, no scouting. And Zest might even be a little surprised at how much he's gotten away with. Pulls back a lot of the scouting that was being set up, and now it only has 1 Zalnaga. He's up to 5 Phoenix. Maybe you can add on a 6th and then that's it. I'm also quite surprised that Zest has nothing scouting the middle of the map or the front of the base. Because he doesn't 100% know what HeRoMaRine's build is. Gotta be expecting an attack around 7 minutes, right? So a lot of the Terran attacks are gonna happen. Not this one, though. Stim's not done. Combat Shields isn't done. Looks like HeRoMaRine heading up for more of an 8-minute attack. If he had assumed correctly that it's Phoenix Charge, then him not attacking and just waiting for a bigger, bulkier force with a really solid economy is absolutely the right thing to do. If he had played this on a 2-base attack into a 3rd CC, it would have been, I think, a lot more awkward. But now it's Zest kind of having to do something to make up for this very late transition to the late game. It's a very mid-game focused composition, and that's, well, Zest, in all honesty, like he's a mid-game focused Protoss. And HeRoMaRine's just gonna wait out the push. He's gonna work out, I think, really well. Even getting a missile turret, this looks like a beautiful defense. Stim's done, Combat Shields isn't quite, now there's 1-1, so it's still a pretty good timing for Zest, but the situation wasn't good at all. Zest runs into a totally prepared HeRoMaRinE with plenty of units, an anti-arm missile to boot. And while HeRoMaRinE does chase after the army and Zest thinks this could be my chance, it absolutely wasn't. He gets demolished yet again. Phoenixes are getting torn down. Archon's still painted orange. It looks like it's going to be able to support the rest of the army, but this is only the front lines. Zest taps out. GG. It's amazing, really, how perfectly HeRoMaRinE is able to play that with almost no information. All he knew was that it was Phoenix. He didn't get back in to see the 3rd Nexus. He didn't get back in to see the gases. I don't think he saw the Twilight Council. It was just Phoenix, and I think I know Zest. I think you know what he's gonna do. I'm so happy to see more esports back in studios. In the bottom left of Blackburn, playing an almost flawless game. It is HeRoMaRinE. Bottom right, we have Zest. I know exactly why that game happened the way it did. It's just still amazing to me that there was so little done by HeRoMaRinE. You know? That was really just not much happening, and then Zest is like, well, I have to do something, so let's go. And HeRoMaRinE just sat there and said, okay, whatever. Just amazing. I think HeRoMaRinE, not only is he just really good in this matchup, I think he really does feel comfortable against Zest, even though many of their previous experiences have been 3-2s, or recently even HeRoMaRinE lost to Zest. That looked like he was just so comfortable against him. To have a TvP where the Terran only Hellion Scouts, no Reaper, no Widow Mine drop, no scans, no push, and then the Terran just wins super easily, like, that's not how it's supposed to go, right? In fact, there's many people who are usually not professional gamers, but even some of the pros, who say you can't do nothing against a Protoss, so that's just bad news. HeRoMaRinE's been proven that wrong, not just in that last game, but a few of the other games too. Strong 3CC builds have been working out wonderfully for him. In that particular instance, he knew that he just had to defend. If it wasn't that build, if Zest had not gone Phoenix Charge, then HeRoMaRinE is just waiting for all of his upgrades to finish, and then he starts dropping like crazy. Because we've seen that as well. But he knew what to expect, he knew what to wait for. I guess low ping narrows down the strats. You mean high ping? Yeah. I don't know about that. I think it might reduce the strats' strength a bit. But I don't think Zest is really... Zest plays in too many online cross-server tournaments to have his builds reduced, in my opinion. I don't feel like, and I've, you know, cast a decent amount of Zest in crossover tournaments. I don't ever feel like he's saying, well, I can't do that, so not gonna, you know, ping's way too word. And no, I don't actually think he's that much of a grumbler at all. I don't think charge lots are particularly hard to micro, but I do say like Phoenix usually are. If you're gonna try and play the build best suited to work with high ping, wouldn't that be something more like a Colossus build in 2 bases? I don't know. You might, I guess you could argue that he wants to be a more mid-game oriented player in cross-server because he doesn't want to micro late-game armies, and that, yeah, okay, I see that. This is the kind of little cheeky move-out that HeRoMaRinE's been experimenting with. Not gonna work, though. HeRoMaRinE said we figured out Zest in Europe. We'll see next game. He just read it so perfectly, man. So HeRoMaRinE's early game Marine push was not really effective. A couple of Adepts and a Void Roy was able to shoo that away. But now at least he knows what the actual unit's composition is. Well, not exactly, but he saw there was a Void Ray. He knows it's a Stargate. And whether it's more Void Rays or not, that would usually be more up in the air, because to see 1 Void Ray in this matchup is already a little surprising. But Zest did do this against Cure in the GSO finals. So maybe HeRoMaRinE is expecting the second Void Ray to appear. It didn't really work that well against Cure, though, right? But at least this one finds the Viking really early on. Good micro there from Zest. Gonna be able to grab the Cyclone, just barely, but absolutely takes care of it. And that means that 2 Voiders are left alive. I think what happened versus Cure was that he lost one of his first Voiders right off the bat. That was pretty bad. I'm still wondering about the validity of this build, of this opener. Even a number of Marines, and it's not a lot of Marines, is kind of scary. HeRoMaRinE's taking it very seriously, which he might have saw the potential in the game, in the GSL, so he's taking it very seriously. To swap off this quickly in this matchup to Reactored Vikings, that's a response right there. That is not his pre-planned build. Did he have to respond that strongly? I don't know. And in fact, now that Zest is like, whatever, man, they want to kill you anyways, he might regret building up to, well, 4 Vikings in total. So what happens after Zest's little opener here? He gets a third Nexus, he gets saturated, he goes into charge, so we're talking more like Void Ray charge, funnily enough. So the Phoenix, with the charge, do a couple of things, right? The Phoenix can harass, they can scout, very reliably too, because it's hard to kill those little suckers. Unless they just fly over a bunch of Marines, but usually they're well controlled. They attack air units, obviously, very well. So do Void Rays, no doubt there. They can pick up really important units. I guess Void Rays can target down really important units. We're talking about like siege tanks, right? Phoenixes are a little bit cheaper. But you don't need as many Void Rays, I guess, to kill, for instance, again, drops or tanks. It's interesting. And I don't think Phoenix, Void Rays, sorry, are as good as Phoenix as chasing down things. So I'm just trying to lay out why this could be another way of opening into charge lots, because that's apparently Zest's plan. He does add on Templar Archives fairly quickly, but it is still charge lot Stargate units. In this case, Stargates are Void Rays. So what do the Void Rays don't have? Again, mobility. They're not able to fly around and do a lot of scouting, do a lot of harassment. And they don't have, I think, a chase factor, the chase factor that Phoenix do. But they do have more of a burst factor, right? So if it's going to be about engaging to the Terran, hitting them, not waiting for them and then countering, but if it's about pushing into them, then they are going to be very effective. Let's see how this works out. Let's see how this works out. It might be more so about the charge lot numbers anyways. Zest is going to be pretty confident about this engagement to pull this far away from his shield batteries. Still got the Guardian Shield, he's got a Warp Prism. Void Rays taking on the Vikings really easily right there. SCVs have been pulled into this though, and HeRoMaRinE, I think, just chose the right strategy. So SCV pulls are the most effective against non-splash openers. So no Colossus, no Storm. They're worst against Storm, they're okay against Colossus, and I think they're really good against charge lot-based openers. The splash of the Archon does kind of count, so the more Archons you can fit in, the better you are against SCV pulls, but it's not as much. Right, so I like the SCV pull. That makes it so that mid-game and mid-map engagement, went okay. But now it's 4 Archons, and this time around there's going to be a shield battery with an overcharge. Which makes me doubt that HeRoMaRiNE's push is going to work. I'm doubtful here. Does find an Immortal, that was easy. Zealots on the backside gonna grab some reinforcements. Yes. Let's see how the main battle goes. SCV is not even being used right now. Libra is gonna help out a hell of a lot, but the Void Rays target that down. Lickety split. Same with the tank. And that is that. Yeah. I do like HeRoMaRiNE's SCV pull, but Zest had already gotten to a pretty good position, I think. It was such an interesting opener. Even numbers are a clear winner between Viking and Phoenix. Between Viking and Phoenix. Oh. Phoenix, right? Phoenix attacking faster. There was a change in the way they worked. I don't remember what it was. Vikings have the range, so they can kind of kite, but they usually, like, if we're talking about just Vikings and Phoenix and they're not flying over Marines or Stalkers, Vikings would get one shot and kill 1 or 2 Phoenix right off the bat with their range. I don't know, you could test it. You can literally go on a StarCraft and get into the unit tester and test it. Let's see. In the bottom right, it is HeRoMaRiNE. In the top left, it is Zest. And what is the score? It's tied up. More mana side. Little probe scout coming out. I thought HeRoMaRinE was really happy about how that opened up. I mean, it looks so weird to see Void Rays being produced first and foremost in a macro build in this matchup. But because of their cheapened costs, it's not nearly as weird and devastating to your overall plan as it was 3 years ago. And I think HeRoMaRinE was really hoping that he was going to be able to slap that down. He was able to identify what was going on because of his little marine push, which he also probably regretted that too. I think that was when he maybe started regretting the build, maybe. Because it really didn't do a whole lot. It got some scouting, technically, yes, but a Helene by itself would have also gotten that scouting. And instead of losing 6 Marines, he would have had 6 Marines to help his transition into the Vikings and the Cyclones, which then maybe saves the first Viking, which saves the first Cyclone. And then I think it's a slam dunk defense that leads into a cleaner follow-up. One where also Zest might just be down 2 Void Rays instead of having all of his kept alive. You see what I'm saying, Snowball? One thing leads to another. But the way that it opened, the way that it's continued, the way that Zest is able to get into Mass Charge Lots and Archons, made that last defense look pretty easy. This time around, HeRoMaRinE does open up with a Reaper. It's a bit of a change-up. It's going to get some scouting done a lot earlier. Well, he's hoping to. The Reaper so far being denied entry into the main base. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener and probably Blink. Although Zest has done Dark Shrine openers before. And there is the Blink. Only one gateway too, so that's kind of the next thing that HeRoMaRinE needs a scout. Actually, he still hasn't gotten into the main. He's been denied every access to the main. So anything else he could figure out? I mean, eventually he's gonna see no Oracle, but this Reaper has been really denied. Now it's a Hellion buddy. So should be able to dive if HeRoMaRinE even wanted to, but HeRoMaRinE might feel comfortable enough on this map against Zest to actually just wait for the Widowmine drop to get that full scout done. Widowmine drop's about to be scouted. Ooh, the Stalker is looking for it. Oh, the Stalkers are hunting. Oh, yes, they are. They're not gonna find it, though. Oh, the timing. The timing was just a little bit off. They don't find the Widowmine drop. They don't find the Hellion and the Reaper. It actually gets a little bit awkward. The Natural is totally undefended. Zest only has 2 Warpins to use to try and make a last-second defense. And now his army's just gonna go across the map. He's thinking maybe there isn't a Widowmine drop. That is an awfully bold thing to assume. Reaper gets into the main, is going to distract, cause the Warpins to happen over there, as well as just distract Zest in general. Oh, Zest, he was trying to micro the Stalkers. He's distracted by the Reaper. He might have thought, again, that there just wasn't a Widowmine drop, but good thing it happens. Zest is getting some damage done, but so far not returning the same damage as the Widowmines. And even losing some Stalkers here. All in all, almost an exactly even trade, even technically favoring Zest on the resource trade at the very least. But being on equal workers as the Terran player is not a position that Protoss often want to find themselves in. So in that fashion, I don't think Zest liked how that opened. He really was not supposed to take any damage from Widowmine drop, or if there is damage taken, 1 probe for each Widowmine. That is what professional Protosses expect from their defense. This one's a lot better. So he doesn't have to worry about it anymore, I guess. But Zest, he's intentionally not building probes by the looks of things. Just going into more gateways as soon as possible. He's got a Warp Prism. Now, this wasn't a 4-gate, 2-base, right? And it's not exactly an all-lane off of 3 bases either. This is actually a very odd timing that I don't know if HeRoMaRiNE's going to be expecting. But it's going to be a lot of Stalkers. And they're going to have 6 gateways to utilize very soon. 8 gateways even, I think. So... kind of 3-base, but kind of not. Big old blink all in. No Forge. No Robo. Well, no Robo units, sorry. No Robotics Bay. Just a lot of blink stalkers. Tanks the first shot with a single stalker. Grabs the tank. And this could already be game. It is a bit of a funky build here from Zest. Like I said, I don't know if HeRoMaRiNE would have ever expected this timing or this many stalkers with this timing. Another tank bites the dust, and the stalkers do just run away from the SCVs and the Marines. The tank does get sieged up, because not many other things that HeRoMaRiNE can do. He just has to hope desperately that a tank being sieged up is going to stop the onslaught, but seems like it's already too good here for Zest. He pulls away from more harassments, only loses 5 probes this time around, although maybe a couple more, but still. Does it compare to the amount of damage that Zest is doing? I don't think so. And Zest is going to warp in 6 charge lots as charge finishes. That's going to really mess up the tank fire. HeRoMaRiNE does try to retarget, but it just doesn't matter. GG. Damn. I don't even know. I'm trying to think of how HeRoMaRiNE handles that without scouting it. And then scouting it's kind of hard too, because it's such an odd timing. Most of the time, Terran players are scouting basically like the 3rd base. When is the 3rd base taken? How many gateways do you have on 2 bases? Is it a 4-gate blink? Is it a 3rd base off of 2 gateways? And then there's a lot of assumptions that might happen afterwards. That they're going to chrono their probes up to at least 60. That they're going to get a forge, maybe even 2, depending on what year it is. And probably go into robo units. Although we've had a return of, quicker storm. But I don't know if you even send a Marine out there to see the exact probe count. And if you only depend on a Marine that's so easy for the Protoss to deny. By exact probe count, I mean saturation on the 3rd base. Because that would have alerted HeRoMaRiNE. If he had gotten a Widowmine drop over the 3rd base or a Marine, I think he would have been like, well, it's way too few probes. Like, Zest isn't this bad. But it just seems so difficult to scout that one. And then again, yeah, if you don't scout it, how do you defend it better? Maybe just pull all of units back. Just acknowledge that you can't defend it. But it was tough. That was tough. That was sneaky from Zest, and now we're into potentially the last game. In the bottom right, he is HeRoMaRiNE. And top left, it is Zest. And HeRoMaRiNE's going to try and quickly take a game back by going for a 2 racks cheese. 3rd base for Larva only. Yeah. He only made that base to get another chrono. Easy peasy. So it's very possible that HeRoMaRiNE does not win this tournament. It's very possible. Zest has slapped him twice. To be fair, Zest got slapped hardcore in the first game. That was a beautiful game of StarCraft from HeRoMaRiNE, but the next 2 games, all Zest favored. And Zest is going to get in, see that there's no barracks, and whatever he was planning on doing now has to be changed. Semex core, gas, Zealot. Can HeRoMaRiNE really get a lot of damage done? Maybe. It's not a 3 racks. Saturday we saw Masa take a game from Astray with a 3 racks, but it's not 3 racks, it's 2 racks. Just a couple less Marines, a big difference. Zealot's out. It looks like HeRoMaRiNE is going to take what he can get. So he's going to deny the natural. Force Zest to really configure his build towards this. And then factory, expand possibly away from it. The only thing that's HeRoMaRiNE really has to worry about, I think, right now, is if Zest managed to get a probe out other than the scouting probe and is building a proxy of some type. So proxy gateway, proxy stargate, kind of the biggest things. And that is a worry. Also, the Zealot's coming across the map and there's no wall yet. So that's also a bit of a worry. Some SCVs will die in the making of this game. Zest is looking to break out of the contain by going for a second gateway and a shield battery on the low ground here, and I think that's going to work. Pylon blocks any potential block that could have happened, and instead of the probe combo, it was a bit awkward. What would be really funny is if Zest built a shield battery. I really want him to. It would have been so funny. HeRoMaRiNE's going to take this very seriously. Barely saves the Marine to add the DPS. Again, barely saving it from the probe kill. And it looks like while the bunker has been broken, Zest is going to have to micro away from these Marines. He's going to do so just successfully enough. And this was an odd start. Odd start to a Terran versus Protoss, indeed. But it's one that does seem to be okay for HeRoMaRiNE. The only fear there, I think, was that the Zealot was going to be able to grab, like, 4 SCVs. Which it didn't. All it did was lose some mining time. The 2 SCVs were the proxy SCVs. Zest kind of calmly takes a Nexus, goes into a Twilight Council, acknowledges that both of them have a messed up economy right now, and is even going to try and get some damage done just before the bunker is finished. The bunker is going to finish, but the Marine dies. It was only 1 shot away from death, and what else is actually left here? This is actually really awkward. The Cyclone is in a little bit of danger. The Cyclone, I mean, it will combat these Stalkers, yeah, with the help of the SCVs, but if it had popped on the wrong side and the SCVs had been late to a pull, that's the only time when they're like, oh, hold on here. Even then, I think the Cyclone's healthy enough. That was like 5 Stalkers. That would have been really worrying. The 3, fair enough. And the game continues on. I don't know exactly who likes his position.
Add-on
I feel like
complete.
You know, the Terran doesn't really know what Zest is following up with. You can see a Twilight Council, but Zest kind of knows what HeRoMaRiNE's following up with. Not sure. Zest is only ahead by 4 workers, but since that's not a second orbital yet, that's fair enough. By the time a second mule is being slapped down, you do want to be up by 8 or more likely 10 in a regular game. Zest gonna just expand. Looks like that's exactly his plan. Just gonna take the 3rd Nexus, pretend that the early game wasn't weird at all, and play it looks to be more and more of a normal PvT. And now Charge is on the way. Zest again not going for any Forge. He might just go for the 3-base all-in. And that 3-base all-in is not exactly what happened like last game. Although he could also do that, I suppose. No, they'd already be adding on more gateways, right? This Stalker blink is not really worth it. 6 Stalkers in total have gone down now. I don't know about that one. Standing combat shield is almost done. Tank is appropriately covering the natural, and again, Zest not going to find very much more damage and just take damage instead. 3rd Nexus is finalized. Let's see how many probes Zest goes up to. Now, Zest, I mean, I think in general does cut probes, and I think it's even a bit of a Korean thing from my discussion with HeRoMaRiNE. They cut probes fairly early on. And last game ended up coming into effect for a big ol' attack. Lots of Stalkers in the main base. This time, it's going to be perhaps a lot more charge lots. But no War Prism has been made. In fact, an Immortal is being made from the Robo, so definitely not going to be super aggressive on the front. Which means that Zest is going to have plenty of gateways to work with, but has hampered his economy for seemingly no good reason. Because he could have, I think, gotten his economy first, then his gateways. Scan of the natural is going to at least give HeRoMaRinE the gas information. So seeing it's only 3 gases still, that was going to be a surplus of gateway units. Sesh Joiner, thank you for that Prime sub. Now Zest, 7 stalkers down, going to try and buy more time as the army marches across the map. Now HeRoMaRinE's got to be really careful. Because at the end of the day, Zest does make a ton of units. If HeRoMaRinE decides to back away... Oh, the Marauders! 2 Marauders barely saved in the bunker. If HeRoMaRinE backs away from this... I think that'd be a better call. Okay, yeah. Nice scan then. Because he scans not only that the army is pretty terrifying, but he also scans that the third base doesn't have a lot of probes anyway, so what's the point of pushing the issue if their economy is not really that far ahead? And we know also that Zest has been supply blocked. His economy's not going to get farther ahead. So that means that there's going to be maybe a decent amount of charge lots for now. Zest is not going to be able to easily afford going into upgrades or easily afford going into robos or even Templar archives. He just doesn't have that many probes, doesn't have that much gas. HeRoMaRinE, I think playing this so far so good. Trying to chase down the stalkers now might accidentally get him surprised by the mass zealots. This might turn around on HeRoMaRinE. He does siege up, he does burrow the Wood Mines, but a little bit too late as Zest manages to find a decent engagement here. Hallucinations might have been on purpose. You might know they're hallucinations, but your AI will derp out if there's no scan. Did I like that for Zest? I'm not 100% certain. I think I did. I think using the Zealots right then and there to buy time and cut down the confidence and army of the Terran is worthwhile, as opposed to just having more units for the inevitable big concrete push HeRoMaRinE does on your third. The one where he sieges up slowly, has his Wood Mines burrowed, and is perfectly in control of the situation, right? I think Zest's alternative attack was better. That doesn't mean that he's in a better position. I think he just worked with what he had. And I'm still surprised he's doing this move out. Storm is cool, so it's a good spell to have. HeRoMaRinE doesn't have a Ghost Academy yet, but it's going to be moving into a fairly well set up HeRoMaRinE. Lots of units. Lots of medevacs. About to have +1 armor, not that it works against Storm. I don't know. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh jeez. Oh my god. Zest Observer was so overpowered. Oh my god. So HeRoMaRiNE's expecting a bunch of charge lots and stalkers to come in from either angle. That's why he positioned himself on that ramp, because he wanted to defend his natural and his third in the moment's notice. And Zest had gone for Storm, which took advantage of the positioning on the ramp. There's very different game there.